She had been deceived, with forged papers used to secure that interview with my mother, followed by sensational and untrue allegations about the royal family that exploited her anxieties and intensified her fears. For generations, people around the globe have remained fascinated by the story and influence of Princess Diana. Her empathy, elegance, and unique bond with ordinary people earned her the title of the people's princess. Yet beneath the public image was a deeply loving mother whose children meant more to her than anything else in the world. Now, after being hidden for years, a forgotten letter written by Diana to her firstborn, Prince William, has finally surfaced. What message did she leave for him? Stay with us as we explore the startling contents of Princess Diana's lost letter to Prince William and the hidden truths it brings to light. These personal letters from Diana first appeared quietly, almost slipping under the radar, in the catalogue of a London auction house in July 2004. There were no bold announcements or dramatic media coverage, just a modest entry describing handwritten correspondence from the late Princess of Wales. But these were no ordinary notes. They were intimate reflections that offered a rare, unguarded look into her private thoughts and emotions. Within the collection, one letter immediately drew attention. It spoke about her eldest son, Prince William, with a depth of feeling that made clear how central he was to her life. The auction, organized by SS, featured Diana's private correspondence with Violet Collison, a woman who was far more than a household employee. Violet had served as a trusted confidant to the Spencer family for many years and had watched Diana grow from a reserved young girl into one of the most recognized women in the world. That evolution was clearly mirrored in the letters themselves. Unlike official palace communications, which were carefully shaped and refined, these messages were candid and deeply personal. They documented the emotional highs and lows of Diana's life, her struggles with royal expectations, the overwhelming chaos of preparing for a globally televised wedding, and most importantly, the profound joys and challenges of motherhood. One especially endearing letter dated July 8, 1981, written just weeks before her wedding to Prince Charles, portrayed a young bride caught in the rush of last-minute preparations. Despite the surrounding frenzy, Diana's words carried a playful calm. She remarked that everyone else was running around fixing final details, while the bride herself was staying relaxed. That brief line reflected the warmth and approachability that endeared her to so many people. As time went on, however, the tone of her letters shifted. The light-hearted excitement of a newly married princess gradually gave way to more complex emotions, frustration, concern, and an unwavering commitment to her two sons. What made these letters so remarkable was not only their content, but the feeling behind every word. They revealed a mother whose thoughts constantly revolved around her children's happiness, safety, and future. Although the public had seen Diana through photographs, documentaries, and televised interviews, these handwritten notes reveal something far more intimate. They were never intended for public eyes. They were private expressions of love, hope, and concern, showing her deep desire for her sons to grow up kind and compassionate in an environment that often made those values difficult to preserve. A particularly moving letter dated June 21, 1989, captured this sentiment perfectly. Written on Kensington Palace stationery, it was addressed to Sergeant George Plum of the Special Escort Group, thanking him for arranging a motorbike display for Prince William's 7th birthday. Diana's appreciation was clear as she expressed how delighted she was by the effort and how much happiness it brought to the children and their mothers. What made the letter even more touching was that it did not bear Diana's signature alone. Alongside her name were the small, enthusiastic scribbles of William and Harry, offering a rare glimpse into a simple, joyful family moment, far removed from constant media attention. For those who closely follow Diana's life, these letters were more than sentimental keepsakes. They reignited conversations about her strained relationship with the royal institution and her determination to raise her sons differently. In contrast to earlier generations, where royal children were often raised with rigid formality and limited parental involvement, Diana chose another path. She wanted William and Harry to experience a childhood that felt genuine, shaped by the same moments and experiences as other children. According to her former bodyguard, Ken Worf, Diana made a conscious effort to expose them to life beyond palace walls. She took them to amusement parks, allowed them to eat at fast food restaurants, and even rode public buses with them. These were not publicity stunts. They were deliberate choices driven by her belief that her sons needed to understand the world beyond privilege. Was Princess Diana truly the mother who ensured her children stayed connected to real life? Let's look closer. Diana was not only a royal icon. She was a fiercely devoted parent who wanted William and Harry to grow up with perspectives far broader than their titles. She believed that status should not isolate them from ordinary experiences. She intentionally took them to places where they could interact with people from all backgrounds, determined that they would not grow up sheltered by privilege alone. At the same time, she was intensely protective, fully aware of the unrelenting pressure from the press. She cooperated with palace officials to arrange controlled photo opportunities, allowing the public to witness significant milestones like their first day of school or family holidays. In exchange, she asked for privacy, doing everything she could to shield her sons from relentless scrutiny. It was a delicate balance, offering just enough access to satisfy public interest while safeguarding their right to a normal upbringing. In his book Diana, Her True Story, Andrew Morton detailed how deeply the media's intrusion affected her. She had endured its harsh spotlight and understood how damaging it could be, especially for children. Her letters about William were not casual updates. They were heartfelt reflections of a mother's love, documenting her efforts to prepare him for the responsibilities ahead while protecting him from the harshest aspects of royal life. By the time these letters resurfaced at auction in 2004, William was no longer a child. He was a university student, carrying forward the lessons his mother had instilled in him. Filled with pride and maternal wisdom, the letters offered insight into his character and illustrated how profoundly Diana had shaped him. Their reappearance came just 7 years after her tragic death, while the world was still grieving her loss. The monarchy was continuing to adjust to the changes she had set in motion, and William's growing public role led many to see him as her emotional successor. Yet these letters were not merely historical documents. They serve as a painful reminder of what had been taken too soon. Diana never witnessed her sons become adults. She never saw them create families of their own or champion causes she would have deeply admired. Still, through her handwritten words, her voice endured, not through rehearsed speeches or official engagements, but through sincere expressions filled with warmth and honesty. What began as an auction ultimately became something far more meaningful. The rediscovered letters allowed people to feel Diana's presence again and revealed the depth of her love for William. Her legacy as a mother was never just about letters or photographs. It was defined by daily choices. Some were bold, others quietly defiant of royal tradition. But at the center of everything was one simple truth. Before William and Harry became global figures, they were 2 young boys raised by an extraordinary mother. Diana understood that privilege carried immense pressure, and from the beginning, she was determined to give her sons more than titles. She wanted to give them character, compassion, and a connection to the world beyond palace walls. On June 21st, 1982, Diana became a mother for the first time with the birth of Prince William. At just 20 years old, motherhood transformed her instantly and profoundly. It was not simply a role she stepped into. It was a purpose she embraced wholeheartedly. Unlike many royal mothers before her, she rejected emotional distance. She wanted to be actively involved in every aspect of her children's lives. She broke with tradition by breastfeeding William, a choice rarely made by royal women for generations. She selected his name herself, rather than leaving it to palace convention. Most importantly, she resisted the idea that nannies should take on the primary parenting role. Diana was determined to be fully present. Her devotion became even clearer when Prince Charles was required to travel to Australia just weeks after William's birth. Traditionally, royal children would remain behind with staff. Diana refused. She insisted on bringing her newborn son with her, making it clear that no royal duty outweighed being there for her child. As William grew older, she continued to challenge expectations. Rather than employing private tutors within palace walls, she enrolled him in a nearby nursery school. Many were astonished to see a princess personally dropping off and collecting her son, an act nearly unheard of in royal history. This was more than independence. It was a quiet transformation of royal parenting. Diana's efforts did not stop there. She ensured her sons experienced everyday life beyond grand halls and formal events. Their childhood included ordinary moments any child might treasure. She took them to McDonald's, not out of preference, but to let them share experiences common to other children. She rode the London Underground with them, visited theme parks, and surrounded them with people who treated them as equals. These outings were intentional lessons. Diana wanted her sons to understand life from every angle. Kenworth later explained how carefully she planned these trips, often choosing low-profile moments and minimizing security, sometimes even disguising herself to blend into crowds. She was not simply giving them memories. She was teaching empathy. That commitment became even clearer when she introduced her sons to her charitable work. One defining moment came when she took William to visit Centerpoint, a charity supporting homeless young people. There, he encountered children his own age who lacked family support, education, and stability. For Diana, this was about more than awareness. It was about teaching responsibility that came with privilege. Through love, defiance of outdated norms, and unwavering dedication, Diana reshaped royal parenting entirely. By the early 1990s, her marriage to Prince Charles was falling apart under public scrutiny. Amid media pressure, personal pain, and palace politics, Diana found stability in one place: her sons. She invested herself fully in their upbringing, determined to protect them from the turmoil around her. She chose schools that prioritized emotional well-being and privacy, working closely with staff to ensure William and Harry experienced normalcy where possible. Even after the official separation in 1992, she remained deeply involved, attending school events, supporting sports days, and writing personal notes to teachers and staff. Many of those notes later appeared at auctions, reminders of a mother who never let royal obligations overshadow her love. In 1995, during her widely watched interview with Martin Bashir, Diana openly spoke about her struggles. Yet even then, her focus remained on her children. She emphasized kindness, emotional strength, and humanity over royal protocol. Following the interview, Queen Elizabeth II encouraged her to finalize the divorce. According to her former butler, Paul Burrell, Diana was heartbroken, feeling pushed aside. Still, her sons remained her anchor. When the divorce was finalized on August 28, 1996, Diana lost the title of Her Royal Highness. Though symbolic, it deeply affected her, as protocol meant she would one day have to curtsy to her own sons. When she shared this with William, the young prince reportedly reassured her that he would restore it when he became king. Though never officially confirmed, the story reflects their close bond. After stepping away from royal duties, Diana focused on causes close to her heart, including homelessness, HIV awareness, and the fight against landmines. Even without royal backing, her humanitarian commitment intensified. Despite personal fears and feelings of vulnerability, she remained devoted to making a difference. In January 1997, her visit to Angola with the Red Cross, walking through a cleared minefield, produced some of the most powerful images of her life. In her final months, Diana remained focused on preparing her sons for the future. She taught William that leadership was about service, often reminding him to use his position to help those without a voice. That future was tragically cut short on August 31, 1997, when Diana died in a car accident in Paris. The image of William and Harry walking behind her coffin remains etched in public memory. Even in death, her influence on her sons endured. What are your thoughts on the shocking revelation from Princess Diana's letter to Prince William? Share your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.